Yeah, you can see I'm holding my phone right now, right? So, I mean, we are, 12:08 on Thursday. Man, I got to tell you, I really do like doing these podcasts for the most part. Once in a while, I get kind of annoyed, but only because I'm tired of the medical industrial complex and big pharma. But I'm going to test a theory. So you can fast forward past this part. If you are about to listen to this, it's going to take me about 3 minutes. So I'm going to read this off my phone because I'm testing a theory. Medical disclaimer. I want to see what happens. All right. So medical disclaimer. The Dr. Trevor Bachmeyer YouTube channel does not contain medical advice. I am a doctor. The contents of this YouTube channel, such as videos, text, graphics, images, and other material, are intended for entertainment, informational, and educational purposes only, and not for the purpose of rendering medical advice. The contents of this YouTube channel are not intended to substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Although I take efforts to keep the medical information on my channel updated, I cannot guarantee that the information on my channel reflects the most up-to-date research. Hold on, I need some coffee because this is long. Free speech though, right? Consult your physician for medical advice. Always seek the advice of a physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions regarding a medical condition. Never disregard or delay seeking professional medical advice or treatment because of something you may have heard in a YouTube video. Before taking any medications, over-the-counter drugs, supplements, or herbs, consult a physician for a thorough evaluation. This channel does not endorse any medications, vitamins, or herbs, nor do we condone the use of illegal drugs or using drugs for an unintended purpose. A qualified physician should make a decision based on each person's medical history and current prescriptions. That's part 1. Look at that, 1 minute and 55 seconds in. Medical disclaimer 2, based on YouTube's own policies. According to YouTube's own community guidelines, videos which intend to educate, which do not glorify substance use and abuse, are generally suitable for advertising. Dr. Trevor Bachmeyer videos do not glorify the use of drugs. It's also not graphic because it does not show the consumption of any illegal substances. The following video is strictly educational and read from YouTube's own, this is the world I live in, YouTube's own policy. Oh, I'm going to put this at the beginning of every video, just not read. I'm just messing around. Recreational drugs and drug-related content. This is their policy. Videos discussing drugs or dangerous substances for educational, documentary, and artistic purposes are suitable for advertising, so long as the drug use or substance abuse is not graphic or glorified. How about we get to work? Welcome to the world we live in. About free speech. That took me 2 minutes and 56 seconds of yours that I wasted. So I'll put in the write-up, go to minute 3. It'll bypass this nonsense. Anyway, you're welcome. Country though, right? You guys might want to think about what you're voting for. So listen, I need to talk about oral peptides and just this. Listen, before you get in my comments and get all upset and start saying they worked for you or you don't understand and give me your bro science or Insta expert or your PhD that says you bought a degree, stop. Listen to who's being affected. The people that are following your advice who are gay, they're getting precisely nothing. Like, cut the crap. Just seriously, cut the crap. You guys have to understand you're being lied to systematically and very scientifically, and you're paying for the privilege. I'm not going to sell you anything in a bottle. That's not what I do. No magic beans or hope or these pills. I'm going to give you the one thing that the entire wellness industry is absolutely terrified of. Inconvenient, irrefutable, biological truth. I don't care what you think of me. I don't care whether you like me or not. I care that at least you have the information to make an educated decision. That's why I keep coming out here. So, and by the way, my Instagram's back up. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not even getting into it. All I'm going to say is it's badass being me sometimes. It's badass being me all the time, just like it's badass being you. Before you misconstrue what I just said, I'm not going to slow down. My job is to give you guys the information. Your job is to do what you want with it. But let me go over peptides. Otherwise, I'm going to spend an hour on here just on a rant. And apparently some of you guys go, I just don't like that he rants. Then don't listen. But listen, there's this $1 billion fairy tale that you can swallow peptides and get results. Well, I'm going to dismantle that myth with real, cold, hard logic and facts of human physiology. No marketing jargon, no biohacking buzzwords and pseudo bro science, just facts. And I promise you this, The whole point of this podcast is so you actually understand why the only thing you're absorbing from an oral peptide is a lighter wallet or less money in your bank account. So how about I just start with the absolute basics? So this is like a master class on why they can't work orally. I'll go through all the types that they're trying to market you and explain why they can't work. So first of all, what is a peptide? That's the question you should be asking. What is it? Listen, itchy nose, forget the complex diagrams and the nonsense that they come up with in the cute little graphics. A peptide is very simple. It is a short chain of amino acids. Think of amino acids as Lego bricks. If you've played Legos, I used to play Legos when I was a kid. Hell, I'm 52. I would still play with Legos right now because the stuff you can build is wild. But think of amino acids as individual Lego bricks. A protein is a massive complex Lego. It's the Death Star. Like, it is everything. Thousands of bricks together. A peptide is a very tiny, specific instruction set, maybe 5, 10, 50 bricks, Lego bricks long. That the power isn't in its size, it's in the sequence that it is, right? That specific sequence it's like a key, right? That's what I would say. It's like a key. It's a biological command that fits into a very specific lock on your cells, and it's called a receptor. Receptors here, keys here. The peptide sequence fits in like this. And when the key turns that lock, it's not opening a door as much as it's giving an instruction. Produce more collagen, release more growth hormone, reduce inflammation, whatever it is. But that's it. A peptide is a text message. If you want to look at modern terms, it's just a letter that you sent somebody. And this is where the entire house of cards for oral peptides collapses, because in biology, the message is only as good as the delivery system. So you can scream as loud as you want in a vacuum, nobody's hearing. So how about I do this? I'll make it very easy. Let's take this tiny little peptide messenger on a journey. The journey, you're told that it can survive in your digestive tract. This is where it's headed. This nasty, chaotic environment that I will explain. You swallow a capsule, and just listen to the entire podcast before you start judging in my comments. This is just science. There's nothing about that. I have nothing to gain. Remember what I said. You buy from Elite, great. You don't, just as great. You join the Black Card, awesome. If you don't, just as awesome. I just want you to have the information. I'm here to help people, and I'm going to do this until God says you're done. So you swallow this capsule. It hits your stomach. Welcome to hell. That's pretty much where we're at. Hell. Gastric acid in your stomach is it's got a pH 1.5 to about 3.5. That is corrosive enough to destroy metal. But its primary job is to denature proteins, to unravel them and break them down. So your precious little 10, 15 sequence peptide, it's a protein fragment. It's prime target for your GI tract, for your stomach. The stomach doesn't see this little miracle signal molecule. It doesn't. It sees lunch. It sees component parts that I need to dismantle to acquire. So pepsin enzymes join this big, beautiful party in your gut, specifically designed to chop proteins into smaller and smaller pieces, just cleaves them over and over again. But here, hold on. I'm going to drink some coffee. Let's say by some miracle, a few peptide molecules, they survive this acid bath. Okay, so they move into the small intestine. This is no sanctuary. This is a demolition derby, just stuff coming at it like crazy, because the pancreas floods the intestine with proteolytic enzymes, trypsin, chymotrypsin, carboxypeptidases. These are protein shredding machines. Their evolutionary purpose is to do one thing: reduce everything you eat into its simplest components. Individual amino acids and very small di and tripeptides. That's all your intestine was designed to absorb, just so you know. The lining of your small intestine is lined with something called an enterocyte. It's got billions and billions of enterocytes. These cells have transporters that actively pump individual amino acids, those tiny little di and tripeptides, into your bloodstream, right? They cross through, they pump it across into the bloodstream. Anything larger is completely ignored, broken down, or just passed through. So your little 10 amino acid sequence, that little specific key doesn't have a transporter. It's too big. That's like trying to fit a grand piano through a doggy door for a chihuahua. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work at all. So the first law of oral peptide failure, the GI, the gastrointestinal tract, is an evolutionary deconstruction zone for you. It's designed like that. It is brilliantly put together to destroy complex proteins and absorb very simple building blocks. Your body is not complicated. It's just very effective. It is incapable of absorbing intact functional peptides. It can't work. It's not even designed for it. That's like saying your car is designed to be a sewing machine. So here's where the marketers come in. They're like, oh yeah, but we're smarter than evolution. We're smarter than DNA. We're smarter than God. We use liposomal encapsulations. Yeah, it sounds fantastic. Little fatty bubbles protecting the peptide. Science, except it's not science. It's freaking Star Trek science fiction. Listen, liposomes are fatty vesicles, right? So in theory, they surround it and they protect the payload from stomach acid. And they just very well might. Okay, great. But then what? Then what? Just follow. They hit the intestine. So there's bile salts that are released, and bile salts are biological detergents. You ever dump detergent? You ever wonder why you get oil on your hands? You work on a car, or you get grease in your hands, and you use what? Hot water? You use detergent. Why? Because it emulsifies fats. That's what bile salts are designed to do. Their job is to emulsify fats, to break them apart, is what that means. So what do you think happens to that fragile little lipid bubble when it meets a potential killer detergent that you are designing? That's coming out of your system? It gets dismantled. And then that peptide is unceremoniously dumped right into the proteolytic enzyme soup we just talked about. So the result is what? Shredded peptide. Okay, cool. We can keep going. This is fun for me. This is why understanding physiology makes me happy. So even if against all odds, everything, some liposome survives bile salts and gets near an intestinal cell, it faces another insurmountable barrier. For the peptide, in order for it to get into your bloodstream, the liposome must either fuse with the intestinal cell membrane or be absorbed via something called endocytosis. This process for particles of that size is exceptionally inefficient. In fact, it's not just inefficient, it is completely unpredictable in your gut. So hold on. The primary route for nutrient absorption is through specific transporters, not via bulk absorption of large particles. It doesn't work. And just so you know, the data, real data showing significant systemic delivery of intact peptides via oral liposomes in humans is, to put it mildly, non-existent. It is a lab curiosity, not some clinical reality. Let's keep going. These fantasies are fun because this is what these guys are trying to sell you. Sublingual administration. You just drop it under your tongue, right? Come on, put it under your tongue, bypass the gut. Okay, plausible. So the tissue under your tongue, super thin, just like the up by the mandible, right? The pouch. So the peptide should be able to diffuse right into the bloodstream, right? Yeah. No, that's not how they're designed. Listen, I'll explain it as best as I can without getting too detailed. The sublingual mucosa under your tongue, which is much more permeable than skin, yes, it is still a very formidable barrier. It is designed for the absorption of small lipophilic, which means fat-soluble molecules. So nitroglycerin for heart patients works very, very well this way. It's a very tiny molecule. Peptides are large, and they're also hydrophilic, which means they're water-loving molecules. Lipophilic, hydrophilic. We're running into a problem already. They have terrible permeability across mucous membranes. The saliva in your mouth is also filled with, you ready? Here's the fun part, enzymes. The first is salivary amylase, but the second is lingual lipase, all designed to shred whatever's in your mouth. And oral tissue contains a whole bunch of other proteases, by the way, just not even just that. The peptide sits in this enzymatic bath under your tongue, exposed, naked as heck, while trying to passively diffuse through a membrane that it is fundamentally unsuited to cross. Okay, so the bioavailability of peptides via this route is less than 1%. It's a waste of time and a waste of a perfectly good molecule, to be honest. Okay, so how about we go, let's keep going. Let's go with what does work. How does your body handle dietary protein? This is important. So if you eat a steak, right, it is this massive collection of proteins. Your digestive system brilliantly, by the way, reduces that steak into component amino acids. These amino acids enter your bloodstream. They become part of your body's free amino acid pool, which is required. And from this pool, your body's cellular machinery, specifically your ribosomes, they read the genetic code in your DNA and they reassemble these amino acids, remember they're Lego blocks, into the specific human peptides and proteins that your body needs. You are not absorbing steak peptides to build muscle. You're absorbing amino acid bricks, and your DNA is the leader. It's the dictator. I was going to say foreman, but it's not even that. It's a dictator that directs the entire construction of human specific structures. Taking an oral peptide and hoping it instructs your cells is like swallowing a page from a French dictionary and hoping to magically speak French. Your body doesn't work that way. It translates everything back into its raw materials 100% of the time, no matter what you're doing. How about, actually, I just thought of one. I came across my page the other day in between when I was up and when I was down, and now I'm up again. Enteric coated. This is the bastion of the oral peptide huckster. I swear, this is such a load of crap. So an enteric coating, because I just thought of this, is this polymer shell, right? That resists stomach acid. Okay, it's designed to dissolve in the higher pH of the small intestine. Perfect. This is brilliant for protecting drugs that are acid labile but can be absorbed in the gut. But for a peptide, this is the ultimate irony. It's the coating success. Listen to me. This is why it successfully delivers the peptide past the stomach and drops it off directly into the main event of enzymatic destruction. You've expertly navigated the minor league pitcher who's just barely throwing maybe 60-mile-an-hour fastballs, only to be thrown in the batter's box against a major league closer throwing 100-mile-an-hour heat that'll leave a 2-foot hole coming out the other side if it hits you. The enteric coating ensures the peptide arrives perfectly intact to its execution. It solves a non-problem, acid. That's a non-problem, while completely failing to address the real problem, intestinal enzymes and impermeable gut wall. So now you understand the physiology and the gastroenterology behind this, but the surgical precision is saved for just one method of transport, and not just any. Subcutaneous, and there's a few, I guess I could say intramuscular as well, but sub-Q for 99% of them. Sub-Q bypasses the entire destructive gauntlet of the digestive system. The peptide, I didn't even go over the bouncer in front of at the liver, that with a PhD in biochemistry that actually knows what he's talking about, not just making a bunch of noise online. Like this bouncer goes, no. And then when it hits your liver, just so you know, even if it makes it that far, it just snags it, tags it, bags it, and kicks out its corpse. You cannot ever absorb any variation of any peptide you put in your mouth. And if you go, well, what about BPC? Again, any peptide ever, you get the reward for the routine, but you'll never see it. The peptide is deposited. When you go sub-Q, it is deposited directly into the extracellular fluid. It is immediately available to diffuse into the bloodstream right away, like this. And it'll circulate throughout the entire body intact with its specific sequence preserved, ready to bind to its target receptor, turn that lock, and start the cascade of events. Bioavailability via injection is 90% or higher all the time. Compare that to the less than 1% from oral or sublingual or enteric coated or whatever it is that you guys are being conned into buying. It's not a preference. It is a biological imperative. It's not a debate. There's no debate here whatsoever. This is the reality of human biochemistry. Any company selling you oral peptides is not selling you advanced science. They're selling you a psychological pacifier that's wrapped up in a very slick marketing campaign. And that's the second part of the con, your own brain. Listen to me. You buy this expensive oral peptide and you establish a ritual and you take them every single morning and you're investing money and effort and time and all this stuff. And it triggers a very powerful psychological phenomenon. It's called the placebo effect and effort justification. You want it to work so badly, so you start looking for minor changes. Bit more energy, got to be the peptides. Better sleep? Yep, definitely the peptides. This isn't you being foolish. It's your brain's powerful desire to believe that your investment was wise. You're not feeling the peptide. Guys, you're feeling the reward of committing to a routine. That's what I was trying to explain. It's a testament to the power of your mind, not the molecule. But if you really want to unpack this, the mind can be fooled, but blood work can't ever. It's not possible. This is irrefutable proof. If you are taking a peptide, I don't know, let's say like GHKC, right, meant to improve skin quality, or a growth hormone secretagogue like a pamerelin, the mechanism is known. They should elicit a measurable response. Agreed? Increase collagen markers for the GHKCU, or a spike in IGF-1 levels. So go get a blood test before you start. And after a month of taking oral peptides, I will save you all your money. Your IGF-1 levels will be identical. Your inflammatory markers will be unchanged. The data will show a nice flat line because the molecule never reached the target. The biological signal was never sent, ever. It's not possible. Peptides aren't drugs in the traditional sense. A drug like aspirin is a foreign synthetic molecule that inhibits, in this case, like aspirin, cyclooxygenase. A peptide is a bioidentical messenger. It's like a text, that bioidentical text speaks the same language as your body. It's not about introducing a foreign substance. It's about supplementing or moderating or modulating a natural signaling system that you've already got, but the message gets deleted in the outbox if you try and mail it through the damn stomach. 100% of the time. There's no percentage. None. And I'm sure this is going to cause somebody to get all mad. Instead of getting mad defending your ego, how about you just accept that biology is biology? I don't have anything to gain from this. Maybe that's the problem, is you think I have something to gain. I don't care where you buy your stuff. I care that at least you're getting something that's going to work. Any company, any influencer, any doctor, any Instabro, any Insta expert selling you oral peptides is running a con. It is a deliberate, calculated exploitation of scientific ignorance. They are not misunderstood geniuses. They're sure as hell not pioneers, unless they have secretly rewritten the fundamental laws of human physiology, the laws of enzymology, gastroenterology, and pharmacokinetics that every first-year med student freaking learns. Their product is physically incapable of doing what they claim. It's impossible. They rely on your hope. They rely on the placebo effect. They rely on the fact that you're not going to go get a blood test just to prove them wrong. You've got a choice, man. Like, I really want you to win. I do. I want you to win so bad, and I'm trying to give you information so you just have it. Do what you want with it. But remember, to have information at your fingertips and do nothing about it it just makes you an imbecile. You can believe magic beans, and you can believe in these magic capsules and liquid and all the things that you tuck under your tongue or drop into your eye or whatever it is you're doing. Or you could just believe in real science. And I'm not saying follow the science for the other stuff that was going on. That's not what I'm talking about, because that was bunk. I'm talking about the science about how human biology and physiology works. You can buy the story, or you can just go, I need the data. The laws of biology, human biology, are not swayed by marketing budgets. They're immutable. They're just like the gravity that is holding this chair on the ground. The pathway to the results that you want is very clear. It requires just a little more courage than swallowing a damn pill. It requires actually going, I might have to break the skin with this pointy object and a barrel filled with some kind of a substance. But accepting the delivery method that actually works is non-negotiable. I could sit here all day and keep going through this. If it doesn't come out of a needle, it is not effective. Period. You guys got to stop buying the fairy tales from these people, man. Your physiology, your body, your biology deserves the truth. I am a walking billboard for what works. I'm not telling you, if you're not like me, you're not successful, you're not happy, you're not fit. I'm telling you that what I did from where I came from, it freaking works. I'm just giving you the answer. I don't even charge for this. This is so you have some information and you go, you know what? Finally, somebody's actually giving me the honest answers. I got nothing to gain here. I just want you to have the damn answer. Anyway, I hope you get something out of that. I got to go. Never miss.